Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to talk about 3 Doctor Who stories that I don't talk about a lot on the channel that I just kind of wanted to discuss today. The first one is The Face of Evil with the 4th Doctor. This is Leela's first story. It didn't quite make my top 15 Tom Baker stories, but it was really close. It was vying for it. Well, when I did the honorable mention was between Robots of Death and Face of Evil, and I gave it to Robots of Death for more objective reasons, but between the two, I prefer Face of Evil. I think Face of Evil could be the most underrated story of season 14. I really like it a lot. Part of this is I like Tom Baker in it. Tom Baker is great in the story. He has a lot of very humorous moments that I think more people associate with the Williams era, even though this is still part of the Hinchcliffe era, but he has some really amusing moments, like when he's whistling and kind of talking to himself. And when he looks, I love how that could be my favorite. Would you like a jelly baby? And the whole show is when he does it in this story, and when he threatens to kill him with the one guy with the deadly jelly baby, and the bit about the arrow striking the piece of wood. That's either a really good shot or a really bad. I love all of that. I love the fact that the Doctor in this is having to kind of fix a mistake he made accidentally. Kind of one of those, the Doctor did something at some point that kind of caused the problem he's in now. We've seen this, like with the long game leading to what happens in Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. You know, it's kind of that, just not to that extreme. And I really like Leela a lot as a companion. Louise is just fantastic as Leela, and Leela's one of my favorite companions. I think she's an underrated companion. She's really, really good, and I like her origin story here. I like the different sets too. You have the jungle area, and then you also have like the little inside the cave area, and I like how you transition inside the cave through that little hologram wall that you step through. I have a couple nitpicks I don't like the actual face of the mountain looks really naff, looks really bad. It's obviously a model, and the face of Tom just looks really bad, and it looks better on the cover actually. This actually looks better on the cover than it does in the actual production. I don't really care for that. Also, the guys who live in the cave, the really brainy ones, I don't like their character design. They just look very flamboyant, and I get they're supposed to be more mental and less physical, but something about their design I just don't care for. The hats and the hair and it puts me off. But I like that Leela is deadly and how she'll kill people with the Janus thorns, and over the course of her with the Doctor, we have to kind of see her, no Janus thorns again, ever. And this crops up again in Talons as well. He's kind of having to civilize her, because she is very much a savage. And I like the one guy who's also in the tribe who, through a good part of the story, comes up as, you know, he comes off as this really bad character that you just don't like, the kind of shaman witch doctor one. You know, he's very unlikable, but at the end he kind of ends up helping save the day. He actually turns out to be a really good character. I really like that because I didn't see it coming. He's very crucial to them saving the day, and I like that a lot. I really enjoy The Face of Evil. I feel like it doesn't get enough credit. It's a great introduction to Leela, and I love Tom, and it's got some good set design. It's a good story. Next on the list is Planet of the Spiders. John Pertwee's final story. It's not Pertwee's best story, and it's not the best regeneration story. It's not a bad story. I think it's a good story, but it's just a good story. It has some nice action set pieces, seeing him moving, you know, by car, by boat, by air. Yeah, the spiders look a bit... the spiders aren't that impressive to look at, let's be honest. Some of the CSO work's not the best to look at, let's be honest. But the script is good. I like the script. I like that they bring the Metabolus crystal back into it, and I like how they tie it back to Metabolus 3. That's really neat. My biggest fault with this one, I think its biggest crime is it doesn't have a big rewatchability to me. I just don't ever really get the desire to go back and rewatch it. You know, I recently did a video talking about one of my biggest issues with Series 11, and that issue was the rewatchability series, or the Whittaker era as a whole, actually, the Whittaker era as a whole. And it's just not very rewatchable. Even the episodes I like, I don't usually have the urge to go back and rewatch for Whittaker's era. This is kind of the same problem I have here with Planet of the Spiders. I never really have that desire to go back and watch it. There have been a couple times I've almost put it on the shelf because I have it. And then I'll be like, yeah. I keep thinking I'm just going to wait for the season 11 box set whenever we get it in the next 2 or 3 years. I never really have more than the slightest urge to go back and rewatch it. Like, sometimes I'll think of it, I haven't watched Planet of the Spiders in a while, and I'll pull it off the shelf and I'll be like, nah, maybe later. That season 11 box set will be out eventually. And I figure either Planet of the Spiders or Invasion of the Dinosaurs are going to get the special effects upgrade. One of those two, I figure. So I think that's its biggest problem and the reason why it doesn't come up on the channel. Because I've only watched it once or twice. I bought it, I saw it when I first got the DVD, when it first came out. I don't remember what year that was. Probably around 2011 or so. I don't remember. I watched it then, and I think I've watched it once more since then, like a year or two later. But it's probably been 8, 9, 10 years since I've seen it. Something like that. It's been a while. But even, so it's not as fresh on my mind. That's why it doesn't come up a lot. But even then, I don't have that urge to refamiliarize myself with it, to just go back and rewatch it and do a review. I just don't. I don't dislike the story. I like the story. I just don't feel like going back and rewatching it, if that makes sense. Sometimes there are good stories that just don't have a strong rewatchability for a certain person. Like that one, just for me personally, doesn't have a strong rewatchability. And the other one I wanted to talk about, that I talk about a little more often but not a lot, is the Web of Fear. This one has kind of the same problem as Planet of the Spiders. It just doesn't have a strong rewatchability for me. I don't really get it with this one, though, because I like this kind of Doctor Who story. I like stuff going on in it. I like having, this is, of course, the Brigadier's first story, even though he's only a colonel, and I love me some Brigadier. It's Troughton. It's one of Troughton's most famous stories. I love Troughton. I think all of the guest cast are good. I like it. I like the story. But I still haven't watched the special edition of it yet. When I first got my special edition steelbook in, I watched the colored version of episode 3. Just in isolation, not the whole story. I just watched episode 3. So I could do a review on that episode of the animation. But I still haven't gone back and watched the whole series with the episode 3 in black and white. Because when I go back and watch the show again, the whole story again, I'm going to watch episode 3 in black and white. I still haven't done that. All these months later, I just, like Planet of the Spiders, I have no desire to go back and rewatch it anytime soon. Maybe it's because I've never seen Abominable Snowmen. And I feel like these stories are kind of, Web of Fear is a sequel to Abominable Snowmen. So it's kind of like seeing Empire Strikes Back without seeing Star Wars, or seeing the second Highlander without seeing the first Highlander. Though, to be fair, I actually prefer the second Highlander, and I'm probably the only person on the planet to ever say that, but I love Highlander, too. It's a huge guilty pleasure of mine. Which I love the first Highlander as well. I'm a big Highlander fan. I love the Highlander movies. Matter of fact, got my Highlander steelbook. My Mondo steelbook. Now, if they just do a nice steelbook for Highlander, too, so I can get it. But yeah, I think maybe after I see Abominable Snowmen when the animation comes out, which sadly might be the last animation for a while, I'll probably go back afterwards and then rewatch Web of Fear, and maybe having seen both of them, I'll appreciate Web of Fear more. Because I like the story, I don't have that desire to go back and rewatch it again. Maybe it's just because I saw it in 2020, 2021, whenever I bought the DVD. I don't even remember at this point, so it's still kind of fresh on my mind. But it's a good story, and I like it. I just don't feel like going back and rewatching it. So I just kind of wanted to touch on 3 stories that I don't talk about as much, and kind of explain my thoughts on them, why they don't come up as often, and just think it's kind of nice sometimes to talk about stories I don't talk about as often, some of the ones that don't come up as often as they do. So I'd like to know what you think of these 3 stories, so comment down below and let me know, because I always enjoy hearing from you guys. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I am trying to grow the channel to 1,000 subscribers. That is my goal right now. I think I'm sitting at like 638, 640 or so as I record this. I want to give a special shout out to two of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane and the Fifth Doctor. I appreciate both of their support, just as I appreciate the support of all of my patrons and all of my subscribers. I do have a Patreon. If you would like to contribute to what I do, there is a link to that down in the description below, and that gets you access to exclusive videos like my review of the Idiot's Lantern, early access to videos going up, polls to vote in for exclusive videos, and videos that'll go up on the channel, bloopers, outtakes, fun stuff like that. If there's anything there that interests you, there's my entry-level tier is only $2 a month. If you would like to support me, again, link in the description below. I also have a P.O. box. I've acquired a P.O. box recently, as I had some people in the comments inquiring if I had one because they wanted to send me some stuff, which blows my mind. It just totally blows my mind. So I have acquired a P.O. box, and my P.O. box is down in the address for it is down in the description below as well, in case there's anything anybody wants to send me. Thank you very much. I also have my Amazon wish list set up, so I have an Amazon wish list. I have a link to that down in the description below as well. It connects to the US version of Amazon, just Amazon.com. If anybody wants to send me anything on that. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.